Oh, stand by, folks. I'm having a caffeine emergency. We need to help me out with a cup of coffee. Also, hey, I'm gonna hold off on creating a link because I want to talk for about 15 or 20 minutes about this stuff that's going on around the world concerning a centralized bank or central bank digital currency. Here I am. Okay, we're live from the basement studio of Dan and Minnie's Journey, located a few steps from the Dunkin' Donut in Bye Bye City Leyte. Yay! Crystals is here, Anna Mae is here, Daisy Lynn's in the house, Lori's, the Philippines' most eligible bachelorette and socialite, and a very mighty nice person. Just returned back from Makati or Manila for another meet and greet. I don't know how she could do it. I don't know how she could be doing these meet and greets once every couple of weeks. That's a long ride. That's a long bus adventure. Jerry Boy TV is in the house. Good morning, Tim. Thanks for coming to my live. Let me kill this music. Oh, there, that's gone. I like that intro music. I'm not sure why. I just like it. Oh, Crystal's Adventure. All right, so today what I have in mind is I want to spend the first half hour or so, I don't know how long it's going to take, sharing a few thoughts about what's going on as far as changes in monetary policy that is encroaching around the world. The United States is a little bit worried, because they think that the rest of the world is coming at them in a big way, trying to create new partnerships to unseat the dollar as the global currency. And how would that affect the Philippines? The U.S. dollar, if you don't know, is tied the peso and the dollar, the Philippine peso and the dollar they're like married with children. They are so close together. They're so close to each other that they're beyond married. I don't see them getting a divorce anytime soon. That's how close they are to each other. Tim, what is the rate, by the way? What's the peso rate against the dollar this morning? It's climbing this week. I think it hit something like 54.74. Of course, every time it climbs, that's good for the expats, the American Westerners that are over here. Not so great for the Philippines because it's a reflection of inflation, which means it's going to cause the price of goods and food and housing and other things to rise in the Philippines. And so I talked about this a little bit on my last live stream. That was totally wrong, Daisy Lynn. I was totally wrong about the cost of housing going down. I now have a different belief that actually it's going to remain flat or rise. Hey, oh, your earbuds are not working. Okay, Larry, don't worry about it. I'm pausing the link for right now, the invite link for our panel until I get through with what my message is that I want to deliver today, because I think it's important. I think it's important for people to prepare for what's coming our way, what may be coming our way. Now, we're lucky in the Philippines in that I don't believe it's going to have the huge impact here in the Philippines that's going to have in other parts of the world, in particular the United States. So many of you don't know the United States it seems to be entering a recession. We don't quite know yet, but the labor numbers, the available jobs number, is starting to sink, which means that a lot of companies and corporations are laying off people right now. So then we have this thing going on overseas where everybody's partnering up, like Saudi Arabia and Russia and Iran and China, all making deals to come up with a commodities digital currency that's going to be controlled by their central banks. Now, I don't know if you guys know this or not, how important this is or knowing this is, but here in the Philippines, the Philippine National Bank, the Philippine Central Bank controls everything. They control all monetary policy. They're just like the FDIC in the United States. They mirror them in almost every way, except for one or two, which I want to share with you, right? That I have knowledge of because I checked this out. At one time, I was trading cryptocurrency, and I was trying to figure out how the trading of cryptocurrency works here in the Philippines. And I was amazed to discover that it's regulated here, that the cryptocurrency exchange, exclusively belongs to the Philippine Central Bank. And so they're the only ones that you can use here in the Philippines as an exchange. So anyway, it's kind of all confusing. So let me back this up. The world has been using dollars in order to trade, in order to settle things like overseas purchases of oil. And so when the United States decided that they were going to become green, in the next 15 to 30 years, they're going to become green. They're going to gravitate away from importing oil and the use of oil, because basically that's how we grew up. That's how the United States became an economic powerhouse. Is everybody started buying vehicles, and then we became we became dependent on gasoline, petrol, and oil, and so we started importing it. Well, once we started going green with this whole talk about electric cars and things like that, guess what started to happen? Well, the people that deal in oil, bringing oil and exporting oil, they weren't too happy to hear about the United States moving away from the use of oil. And so, but at the same time all this is happening, that we're saying, hey, we're going to go green, guess what else started to happen? We started not to import so many products that were based on petroleum. And I'm not just talking about oil for the use of gasoline. I'm talking about there are only so many spatulas the United States can consume. There are only so many plastic straws that the U.S. needs. There are only so many plastic cups that the United States needs. Our consumption of all this stuff, started to decline. And when it started to decline, that means that all this stuff started to pile up on Chinese ports, because they were the manufacturers of most of this stuff. So when you didn't need it anymore, who are you going to sell it to? So it's kind of like, if you think about it, a perfect storm. The number one consumer of Chinese goods was the United States. So long as the population is growing and we're buying and buying and buying and buying up uh, everything we need to build houses and to and whatever it takes to assemble washing machines and car parts and replacement for this and replacement for that, we started to slow down. Nick Bannon saying, Dan, I'll be truthful to you about digital currency. No, I don't want you to be truthful to me, Nick Bannon. I want you to lie. I want you to lie like a dog. I bought Dogecoin worth 3K just to be fashionable, and can't justify that by other than tipping my toe in the crypto stream. Yeah, well, I did too. But I was buying and selling. In other words, I was holding it, and if I was able to make a better return on my investment that I was getting in from the bank in my savings account, then I would sell. Then I'll wait for the dip. I'd go in and buy again, and then I would sell. So I didn't get rich, but I made money. In other words, I was making it in very small 2 and 3% at a time. So no, I didn't get rich. that isn't how I was able to obtain the majority of my wealth. So anyway, but let's talk about that. So here, at the same time all this is going on, you have the global calamity of the virus. The global viral calamity occurs. And the U.S. starts cranking out money. They tell everybody, crank out those printing presses. Hey, Nicole is in the house. Hi, Nicole. And so they're cranking out money like there's no tomorrow. And they're trying to stimulate the economy to get people to buy stupid things, that they don't need. 65-inch television sets, stuff that you need to remodel your CR or your house. I mean, they really wanted them to go out and buy electric cars. So they started throwing all this money around. I can't even tell you guys in the Philippines how many thousands of dollars started showing up in my mailbox and in the bank. It just came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, the government just started handing us out money. I know it's hard to understand it. It's hard to grasp this concept if you live in the Philippines, because they just don't hand out money like that here in the Philippines. Let's see, Nitban says, I sold at 5K just before Elon Musk went on SNL. You and I, brother, you and I both. As soon as I heard about that SNL thing, I sold, and I got out of it forever. A few days before he went on SNL, I dumped the Dogecoin. I dumped Dogecoin, and I never touched cryptocurrency again. I just kind of took a deep breath and said, well, that was fun. So was this an experiment by the government, to demonstrate how the blockchain would work? So when they implemented digital currency, everybody would be all set to go. And Tim says, yes, have I bought things needlessly? Have you? Have you bought things needlessly? I certainly have. In fact, I did it this morning. By the way, folks, I have misplaced my Chase Amazon card, my credit card, and they wanted me to re-verify before I made a very, very large purchase this morning. So I get 3% cash back when I use that card, but I lost it, and so I couldn't verify the card. Therefore, I had to cancel my purchase from the moment. I have every other card in the world at my fingertips, and some kind of way I have misplaced my Amazon Chase card that has the 3% cash back rewards. 3%, that's a lot of dough. And so when you're buying, all right, I'll back up. folks, here in the West, they issue credit cards for people that got good credit. I happen to be in this category. I have no debt, but I have lots of credit cards. Hey, go Kings! And Cali King is in the house, and so I devised this plan. Nitban, you'll enjoy this. You'll chuckle. It may not resonate too well with Filipinos because credit works a different way. You know, you have home credit and all these other things. All right, so here's what happens. Here's what I do, right? I decide that I'm going to leverage the purchase. I'm going to leverage the purchase of gold and silver. That's what I decided to do. So I bust out my Amazon Chase credit card, and I figure if things go south, I just won't pay the balance due. I just won't pay the balance on the credit card. I'll just disappear. So oh, I know how evil this is, right? Remember, I said if I see an opportunity, I'm going to move in for the kill every single time. So what I decided to do is I'm going to go into Amazon. I'm going to find my best price buying silver and gold coin, and I'm going to load up that Amazon credit card, right? Then, once I load up that Amazon credit card and I actually receive the physical delivery of silver and gold, if things go south all of a sudden, I'll just hang Amazon out to dry. I just won't service that credit card debt. Or I'll do it very, very slowly. Yeah, I'll do it very, very slowly. So I'll make like minimum payments over long periods of time. But I still have the gold in my possession, right? You see how this works? So if I needed cash in a hurry and the dollar collapsed, then I would go and sell silver or gold because I was buying it in small bites, bites that would be marketable, that you could go to the store. If things go crazy, you'd be able to buy a loaf of bread. That's how serious I think things are. I started doing this. I started leveraging the purchase of gold and silver with my credit card. Eddie was saying, when I bought tickets for the Philippines, I received 6 times points with my American Express Hilton card. I always take advantage of it. Yeah. Plus, I was getting free shipping on the product, and I was getting 3% cash back on the card, which I can't find now, right? I had to cancel this morning's purchase. I was going to make a very, very large purchase of silver, and now it's gone. The opportunity is gone because the silver had been sold already by the time I went back to take another look. So Nitban says there are many American YouTubers in the Philippines who max their credit cards in the U.S. and will never be back in the U.S. to pay it. Yeah, and so I've heard this. It's not something that I would think about doing myself because, even talking about it, you're probably committing a crime. So the whole idea was I was going to leverage this card, and then I was going to get the 3% cash back and then pay it off in cash, net 30 days. But you had that safety and security, that safety net. I mean, you're using their cash for 30 days, and what you're doing is you're betting that the price of what you purchased, the silver in this case, would go up, right? It would go up. So a lot of you know, because I mentioned on live stream, I did this about 6 weeks ago. I bought a whole bunch of silver and took delivery of it. Well, guess what happened? I did it the way that I explained it to you, and I made hella money. I do apologize for being a financial genius. I made money and I had no exposure because I was able to use that Chase Amazon card, and I got the 3% back on that transaction. So tell me, do you think Dan is a happy camper? Of course I am. Because when I do a transaction like this, I end up making money. I share it with you guys. I share it. I send out Gcash. So Gcash is kind of what we're talking about, because what it's doing is it's training you to get used to the idea of using digital currency. Now, Nitban has been in Thailand. I want to give you this example recently, right? Nipan's been in Thailand, and he knows dang well they use a QR code that's connected to a digital wallet that's connected to their bank. And so you see people carrying their phone all over the place. It has a QR code in it, and they're going in and buying stuff, going boop 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 boop. I mean, they're making purchases all day long that way. They're making purchases all day long. I know one where's every man repeats a story. Yeah, where is the CEO of the Thornton Cruise Line Corporation? All right, so CBDC are the letters that stand for Central Bank Digital Currency. And you think it's not coming to a country near you. You think it's not going to be coming to a country near you, but it is. Just go ahead and Google it. Put CBDC Philippines in there, and all the news stories about how the Philippines is gearing up for the implementation of central bank digital currency, as well as the United States. Now, check this out. I'd like for you guys, so Selexia, follow me on this. Elvie. Hi, Elvie. Larry Lee. Anna Mae. It's important you pay attention to this. I think it is, right? Oh, Nipan's saying, in Thailand, you don't need to carry money. You can literally shop in the wet market using a QR code. I did it. Yeah, it works great. I love it. Hold the phone. Wait a minute. So a couple weeks ago, some of you are going to remember I talked about, I think I'm going to stockpile dollars. And then I changed my mind and said, no, I think I'm going to stockpile Philippine pesos, right? It's safer to stockpile Philippine pesos than it is dollars, because you're going to get the exchange rate on that peso. And if the dollar collapses, the chances are pretty good the peso will not. If you have an idea contrary to mine, please feel free to share it. Well, it's okay, Tim. You only need a QR code if you want to eat. If you don't want to eat anything, you don't need to worry about a QR code. You won't need to worry about it at all. So I started thinking about a whole bunch of stuff, and I want to share it with you. So the central bank digital currency, there's a, I'm telling you, I'm going like 100 miles a minute. And it's because I have so much to share about these thoughts. I must get rid of these thoughts out of my head, not get rid of them, but share them with you so you can have the wisdom and knowledge to make an informed decision about what you should be doing in order to protect yourself and your families into the future. Here's the thing. If you go into YouTube and you start putting this in YouTube, CBDC, you're going to have all these financial wizards. They're going to come online and they're going to get in there and do a YouTube video saying, this is the collapse of the dollar. Dun, dun, dun. Things will never be the same. Dun, dun, dun. Because once they unseat that dollar as being the global currency, the unit for which, the dollar, all things are settled, all transactions are settled, that will be the end of it. But something caught my attention. So Nitban says, Dan, your timing was perfect. I'm looking for a time like that before retiring. Yes, now is the time. Now is the time. If you feel froggy, you need to be leaping, Nitban. If you feel froggy, you need to leap. So here's the thing, folks. So China creates that. China is going to be trading. They've cut deals all over the place through BRICS to speed up the transaction settlements, by using a thing called digital yuan, the digital yuan, which everybody is saying on YouTube is going to compete with the dollar, which means the cost of goods and services will rise if you take China and its members of BRICS out of the equation. But folks, I don't see it this way. I don't see it this way at all. You see, the BRICS and all this, they have to bring something to the party, right? We bring to the party a guarantee that that dollar will never lose its value. It will never lose its value because our government is a stable government. That's number one. And so people have faith. They've put their faith in the US dollar. So, but I will admit that we haven't been treating our global partners that great lately. Right? We'll all be in trouble, Tim, if the dollar collapses. We all will be. And this is the reason for talking about this. The reason for talking about this is that is because I just wanted to share my thoughts about how I see it. So the yuan is, if you guys don't know it or not, China does not allow the masses to take money to remove the yuan from the country. They don't allow it because they think, and I agree with them, that if they were to open the world up and allow money to flow, that yuan to flow, that it will flow all right. It'll flow right the hell out of their country and they will be broke. And they know this. They know this. So the Chinese do this mystical, magical thing and they create a blockchain and they call it very, very similar to the blockchain transparency that exists for the purpose of doing transactions in the cryptocurrency realm. They probably use that as a model. They modeled it after that. So that means that they have two currencies. They have the yuan, which is just like our peso. You know, you can hold it, touch it, feel it, spend it. I just happen to have this in my pocket. I'm getting this one ready to go. You know why? Because someone today is going to win this. Someone today is going to win this 100 peso note that I'm going to be sending you in the Gcash. That's for coffee and donut with Dan and Minnie, even though we can't be there with you and share the experience with you. So Eddie says, I keep hearing about the recession coming and small banks will fold. Yeah, of course. Why? Because you have more control of the monetary, of the money if you only have 6 or 8 or 10 players. So that means that Citibank, Bank of America, all the bigs would survive and everybody else will go away. It's the perfect scenario if you wanted to implement central bank digital currency. And the United States full well has every intention of doing it. But here's the thing. You have all these financial wizards on YouTube and on CNN, and they're everywhere saying, whoa, the dollar's in trouble, the dollar's in trouble, the dollar's in trouble. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way at all. The way that I see it is that all the United States has to do is consolidate those banks into those 8 or 10 or 12 that we're talking about, the bigs, and then convert everybody over to digital currency. Bye-bye! See how brilliant of a thinker I am? And once they do that, it's game over. Because now you're on equal footing with everybody else. So here you have the BRICS, right? Here you have the BRICS making all these deals that are commodities based. And then the United States comes in and they say, oh, hey. They go, oh. They go, hey, why don't we come to the party with our own digital currency. And then once they come to the party with their own digital currency, they've upset the plan. They put a little bit. It's kind of like going in there and grabbing a cart of apples, grabbing the apples from the bottom. The whole thing collapses. Nitban says, but I'm 38. I have the best currency in my pocket. Time. Time is on our side. Time is on our side. Yes, you love cash, but if you love cash, if you love cash to the point where it isn't really going to matter, because you're not going to have to surrender it. They're just not going to acknowledge it as being viable legal tender, which would be, the last time I looked, that would be against the U.S. Constitution, and also I think the Philippine Constitution. So it's going to be like Mr. Froggy's Wild Ride for a while, because people will be panicking and they'll start doing weird things with their money, But for me, I realize that, I'm constantly listening to the voices in my head. But fortunately, the voices are not saying, go jump off that tall building over there, Dan. Instead, it says different things to me, like, get rid of the dollars and buy real estate. Do not buy real estate in the USA. Because I think when the smoke clears, those people that were astute enough to put all their available dollars that were hanging around that they put in their 401ks, 457ks, and their IRA, if they convert that over to cash, if they're able to, and you invest it in something that somebody can't take away, that you could see, hold, touch, and feel, you're going to be good to go. And so the only thing that I can think of is going to be precious metals that you have physical possession of, and real estate holdings, but not in the United States. Not in the United States. Yeah, your voice tells you to stay on the ground. Yeah. I agree with that. Stay on the ground. Stay planted. So, but investing more in your early. So, what will that mean for equities? Well, it's hard for me to say, but it's hard for me to say what will happen to equities, what's going to happen in the stock market. But I'm kind of like sensing that it's going to be a tremendous buying opportunity for a young guy like Nitban. Or for a guy like me, I got to do something different with it. Okay, so why would we be doing this? So right now, you notice the United States has not said much concerning BRICS and the forming of these partnerships based on commodities, where that digital currency will be dependent on the commodities that are being traded. All right. So why hasn't the United States said a whole bunch about this? It's because that I'm right. It's because I'm right. They have a plan. And the plan is to introduce their own central bank digital currency. Will money actually go away? Will dollars actually go away? I don't really think so. And the reason why I don't think so is because you would completely destroy the black market. You would completely wipe out an economy that is probably responsible for creating a third of global wealth. So why would you destroy that? Why would you want to destroy that when you probably have people participating in the underground economy all over the world, which takes hard currency? It takes hard currency. Now, here's something else you should know. As far as the Philippines is concerned, GCash may very well be the training application to get the population used to how digital currency operates. Yes, what if there's nothing to invest? But you always have something. For example, crystals, you would do it in the form of your labor. So in other words, your labor has value. So you sell that labor. You sell that labor to the highest bidder. Nitban, I hope people take your path and not do like I did and not save for the future. Saving won't matter. Not in my future, it won't. And the reason why is because the government, if they go to digital currency, they're going to wipe the slate clean. They're going to wipe the slate clean of debt. They're going to say, hey, let's say a big, huge corporation. Let's say the transfer of money. Let's talk about foreign debt. That is what we're talking about here. They're gonna get up there and they're gonna say something like this: we want to come to the party, and to incentivize you to use our digital currency as opposed to your own based on commodities, we're going to forgive the national debt. Yay! So they're going to go in there. They're going to say, China, all these bonds, all this debt, all this money that you're servicing debt with, that you're using to service debt. We're gonna clean the slate. Now, why would they do that? Well, because it benefits everybody. It benefits the United States in particular, who have trillions of dollars, that they've squandered, trillions of taxpayer dollars that they've squandered, and they're just giving the money away to everybody. And so here we are, trillions of dollars in debt, and then one day somebody's there and going, let me think about this for a minute. I know, we'll forgive all the debt. And we'll pretend that it doesn't exist, and we'll switch over to digital currency. Okay, but here's something that you should know. Why would the banks survive? Why would those 10, 12 major banks survive? Because they're in debt up to their eyeballs with the Federal Reserve. They owe them big time money because they've been borrowing it in order to survive. Nitban says crystals. Then I have 2 hands and 2 legs. I can use an axe to get a card to metals so that I can sell it. Because your gasoline card isn't going to be worth a plug nickel, Nitban. The metals in that car will be more valuable than the car itself. You're exactly correct. Now, yes, it's funny. It's funny, but it's not.
Sir, then coffee.
Oh, yes, coffee, please, ma'am, Minnie. Here's
Sir.
significant
Hello.
other.
Good morning, everyone.
Doing the Filipina thing, taking care of Sir Dan's. Thank you so much, baby.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's lovely. All right, so by law, and I believe this is true in the Philippines as well as the United States, they're not allowed to do business directly with the consumer. And so, but they can do wholesale banking with those banks. And so those 8 or 10 or 12 surviving banks, they need them as the clearinghouse. They need them as the wholesaler. They're the ones that are going to be coming to you saying, hey, Dan, for every $10 in American money that you give us, we're going to give you 1 unit of digital currency. It may happen that way. They may come to you one day and they're going to say, give us 10 pesos and we're going to give you 1 unit of digital currency. And you're going to be looking at it and you may say, oh, well, this makes sense. Or you may say, Hey, wait a minute, you're stealing my money. But there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. There's nothing you're going to be able to do about it for fear that when you go shopping in the supermarket or in the wet market, you won't be able to spend your money unless it's on the black market because nobody's going to want it because they're all going to be shifting over to digital currency. How long will this take? Everybody's asking, Dan, you're talking about this like it's going to happen tomorrow. But the truth be told, nobody knows. Nobody really knows. You have to prepare. You have to prepare your life and the security of your family just in case this event occurs. And that's the reason why I'm sharing it with you. So if you go online, you're going to find out the Philippine Central Bank has confirmed recently, this happened in January this year, that they're going to be launching a wholesale CBDC. Get used to hearing that phrase in the future in order, and so they can institutionalize the digital currency. They'll be able to market it through the wholesale banks. The wholesale banks are retail banks to you. So we're the end user. It's like going to what's the name of it? S&R and buying product. We're the end user. We're going in there, we're buying it. And then you're we're buying the product after our money has been converted over to digital currency. Okay, but the central bank only is going to be dealing with the banks that are left. And that's how it's going to work. That's how it's going to work in the Philippines. That's the way it's going to work in the United States. Let me see. Okay, so now here's a point that everybody's talking about. And it's a little bit, it starts to get you start thinking about 666 and the Antichrist and things like that. So let's talk about this a little bit. Let's talk about this. Is this the fourth head? Is this and the rest of it? I don't even know what I'm talking about. So if this happens, they convert the dollars, they convert these physical pesos and dollars over to digital currency. It could result in all of your purchases and transactions being visible to prying eyes. So this is blockchain economics. They can see every transaction is settled immediately because they can tell whether you have the money available or not in digital currency because everybody can see it. It's transparent. You'll know how much money I have in digital currency. I'll know how much money Knitband has in digital currency. I'll know how much Mildred has in her digital wallet because it's all going to be visible. And that's why the transactions take place instantaneously. However, I see a problem with this. Yes. What does Knitband say? Personally, I have a really good job, but I decided that I needed a break. I tried to quit my job, but they asked me to take a 6-month break and then come back. It's a setup, Knitband. When you go back in 6 months, they're saying, oh, sorry, Knitband, we filled your position. No. I'm just joking. I know that Knitband is smarter than that. Once they offered it up, they put it in writing. They put it in a contractual form. So listen, I know. Knitband's been working. Listen, in case you don't know, Knitband, I hope you don't mind me sharing the story. Knitband's a personal friend. I could tell you that Knitband needed to take a break, that he's been working hard his entire life. Work. Of course, Knitband is a genius in case you don't know it. And so he's very much in demand. So that's what's going on with Knitband. Tim says, like during the pandemic, many stores were only taking credit cards or Gcash, right? And so this could have all been the setup for what's up. They're just getting used to, they're creating an environment, I think. This is what I do believe in. Call me whatever you want. Call me a cab. But It makes sense to me. You know, let's get them used to using digital currency. Gcash was born during that period of time. Am I mistaken? Am I mistaken? By the way, you should know this. So once all the transactions become transparent, what happens to you? Crystals, what happens when they see that, oh, crystals really, they're going to know whether you're rich or poor because they're going to know how much money you have in your digital wallet. They're also going to know if I have sent you currency, digital currency, because they're going to see the transaction. The transaction is going to appear right before the computer algorithms. I mean, if you think about it, you could tie the whole thing in to artificial intelligence. You could tie the whole thing into surveillance society. You know, where you're surveilled constantly. I mean, you could come up with a whole bunch of ideas, right? Oh my goodness gracious! Repent. If you haven't repented, you need to repent, for the end is near. For another global calamity, could be in the form of a financial global calamity, is approaching or may be approaching. Yes, I am a cab. I would make a mighty fine driver. All right, so let's talk about this. Because uh, the models, even in the United States, the models that are being used in order to create applications and programs are borrowed from the Chinese. Because originally they tried to replicate, actually, it's borrowed from us and then borrowed from the Chinese. So what ends up happening is that, correct me if you guys know this story if I'm wrong about this, but the Chinese, they tried to replicate a credit scoring system very, very similar to a FICO score. And basically, they were trying to come up with a credit worthiness program. Now, here in the Philippines, they're working on it. They're working on developing a national credit worthiness program. But so the Chinese, they're looking at it, and I think it was Alibaba who came up with one of the first applications to determine whether a person was trustworthy or not. So, Nitban, the whole thing is you're in demand, and so you have a lot of work. You're in demand. Chris is saying, if I ever receive one, I'll zip my mouth in the sender so that the computer only knows, and we'll have a pinky promise not to tell anybody. You might be able to do that. And the reason why is it's because they're going to gauge. They're going to be gauging your trustworthiness, Crystals. This is the point that I'm trying to make. You guys are telling the story for me. And so Nitban is telling you guys the truth. The Chinese program is much more intrusive. And why? Because because they saw an opportunity. They saw a huge opportunity. They knew that they were going to not only be able to tell what your credit trustworthiness was, whether you pay back loans and such. You know, the way that you go to home credit and when you want to buy something stupid like a dishwasher or a clothes washer or a big 65 or 100-inch television screen that nobody needs. You know, just wait for virtual reality. That's coming. Just wait for AI to solve all your problems. You know, that's all you have to do. Don't go out and buy a huge 65-inch TV set just so you could tell everybody, you know, that you got one. Oh. Yeah, in the United States, it's keeping up with the Joneses, and here it's. Listen, I'll just keep that joke under my hat, okay, Nitban? Okay, Crystals, I'll just keep that joke under my hat. All right, so will there come a time that you'll be able to travel the entire globe without having to leave your living room? Yes, I believe so. Will it come in your lifetime, knitband? Yes, I believe so. Crystals, will it come in your lifetime? Yes, I believe so. Will it come in Dan's lifetime? Yes, I believe so. You'll be able to travel the entire globe without even having to leave the comfort of your own CR. Anyway. Okay, so what's going to happen is they're going to be able to see all these transactions, and your credit score, your credit worthiness score is going to be tied to what they call a social credit score. And this social credit score is it's going to be based on a whole bunch of things. What kind of car you drive, if you have one. What's your carbon footprint like? Do you go to church on Saturdays or Sundays? How'd you like the way I did that, Knitband? All this stuff they're going to be evaluating, and they're going to spit out a social credit score for you. And this social credit score is going to, it's going to be used to determine whether you're able to buy and sell in the marketplace. Now that is very anti-Christ-like. That is very anti-Christ-like. Larry says, Dan, I think you will go to those places in real life. It'll be better than a virtual travel. We don't know. There are people developing these virtual glasses and things like that said you won't be able to tell the difference. That you're going to feel senses. Everything will hear. All your senses will be there. All your senses will be there with the assistance, with the aid of an implanted chip in your brain. So, by the way, I would like to share a quick story with you. It's sort of sad. I may have shared it already. I do apologize if I have. I had a friend, a mentor, a friend of mine, pass away recently. 72 years old, and he should have lived much, much longer than 72. But he ended up dying of what do they call it? Glioblastoma. He got a brain tumor in his head, and he passed away. Well, he ended up getting the brain tumor on the same side of his brain that he used to hang his phone on. So he'd be talking on his phone. But the real story, I'm implying something, but just never listen to anything that I have to say. It has no value. In fact, I forgot to give that disclaimer. Don't listen to Dan. He doesn't know anything about anything. And that's true. So do not listen to me, right? We're just talking here. Just you and I. Nobody else is listening in. Are you? Are you? I don't think so. All right, so let's talk about this. So now here's what happened. We had another friend. His name was Mark, a much younger guy. Mark could always be talking on that. Mark was a mover and a shaker. He was making money. He was making deals. He was one of the best salesperson that I've ever met in my entire life. When you hung around Mark, you just wanted to be with him. You just wanted to be near him. No, I'm not like that. But if I were, then Mark was the guy. Mark would have been the guy. Handsome guy, mover and shaker, making 6 figures a month. I mean, he was a tremendous spirit. Guess what? One day I'm having a cup of coffee with Mark. Crystals, they won't let you mute out the voices in your head. No. They're going to get in there into your thoughts. Crystals, I'm here. It's the God voice. Crystals, I'm here. It's the God voice. That's how this thing's going to work. Yeah, so here's the thing, all right? Mark is sitting there, and I see this, he's looking off in the distance. I'm right there in front of him. I think he's listening to what I have to say, but Mark, he says, Dan, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to share some very, very sad news. I go, what is it? He says, I have terminal cancer. He says, I have what they call geoglioblastoma, something like that. Mark, speak English to me. Speak English. I only have a 6th grade education. Speak English to me. Oh, I have a brain tumor. I'm going to die. And I was stunned. I was stunned. I could not believe it. Mark only lived about 6 months beyond him announcing to me that morning. I'll still remember it like it's yesterday, that he would soon not be on this earth. He'd be someplace else. And so one day I'm talking to my other friend, the other one that recently passed away. I'm talking to him after Mark's funeral, and he's saying to me, you know what, Dan? I would like to die any kind of death. Any kind of death. You name it. Plane crash, car accident, drowning, stabbing. But never, ever want to go the way that Mark went. And guess what? He did. The same way. The same way. The same way. And I'm just completely, it was such a shock. It was such a shock, but they had something in common. They'd be carrying that phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right here. And that's where the tumor formed. They'd be carrying that phone right here. It never left their shoulder. And they'd be making hella money, more money than you or I will ever see. Nip and more money than you will ever see. And they both ended up with the rare brain tumor. So whenever somebody, they do the brain tumor joke, with me, I'm running down to the hospital. It happens every time. Hey, can you do an MRI or at least a CT scan? See if everything is okay up there. They usually tell me, Dan, we already know things are not good up there in your head. So yes, it's a sad story. That two guys I admired the most that were friends that I used to spend a lot of time with both went the same way. And I wonder, what the cause of their demise was. But that's the one thing they would have in common, is they were rocking and rolling 24/7 on their cell phones. And I used to say, is that safe? I used to ask them about it. I was too poor to have a cell phone during them days. I used to have to use a hardwired phone. I was the trainee, I was always the trainee. But the point I'm trying to make is, what if they do, because of the transparency, because you're using digital money? I mean, they already know about me. I'm going to be banned from purchasing anything. I'm going to be banned. I might last 6 or 8 months, though, because of all this bulk that I have. Oh, you're doing Everest? That's cool. If this happens, though, it could result in all your transactions being visible to the algorithms, whatever that is. I don't even know what an algorithm is, And it's possible that they would deploy the social credit score in determining whether you can buy or sell goods at the marketplace. Because at this point, you're pretty much enslaved to the digital money, the digital dollar, whatever they're going to call it, which means that that you're going to be at their mercy. And so that's where Dan tells you, go grow food. If you and the Tin Man, right? If I only had a brain, right, Tim? You and the Tin Man. So Mike says, wonder if VPN type program can hide transactions. Right now, using VPN's a headache, because half the websites that I use VPN in, they will say you have to disable your VPN before you can enter. So what good is VPN? But not with Netflix, by the way. If I use VPN, I could still get American Netflix, and I could still get Pornhub. What more do you need? But I cannot do banking in certain financial institutions because they'll detect my VPN. But once I disable it and I pause my VPN, they let me in. But it says, "Hi Dan, how's everything going in the Philippines?" What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, Mike? What are you gonna do? Mike, what are you gonna do? Yeah, exactly. So the social credit score it could be limiting. And they could say, no, Dan, you can no longer travel. You're not being a good boy over there. We know what you're doing in the Philippines. We know what you're doing. We know you're not paying taxes to the U.S. Government. How could you when you're over there? You're giving the Philippines all your money. You're not paying taxes and servicing our taxes, our tax structure here in the United States. Because in the U.S., if you go and you buy something, you're paying a sales tax. Here in the Philippines, you're paying on some items. You're going to pay, what's it called? That other tax, value-added tax, VAT. And I think the whole world is going to gravitate towards VAT. It could even be that if you're in the Philippines and you pay VAT in the Philippines to the Philippine government, because I'm a U.S. citizen, they will forward the tax to the United States. Think about that. Critically think about these things. Yes, of course I'm paying a California tax. I'm paying hella tax in California. That's where my income comes from. All right, so I'm going to give you an example. I know somebody out there saying, Dan, you're scaring me. You're trying to alarm me. You're alarming me. Nah, okay. Yes, but really that's not my intent. My intent is just to make you aware. My intent is not to alarm you or get you excited about this, just to be aware of it. Mike says we're not adding to the tax base. Also can't use the Medicare as expats. But that they're going to, my prediction is they're going to add the portability component to Medicare. They'd be crazy not to. Because it's cheaper to be treated anywhere else in the world, with the exception of Europe, I would say, than in the United States. So they want their discount. Money is going to be in short supply. It's only going to be what they let out in digital currency based on commodities, quote unquote. We have no commodities in the United States. What's our commodity? What do we sell? Iron ore? I don't know. Coal? We've closed down all the coal mines. Natural gas, we got plenty of that. That would be a commodity. Gold, we actually have plenty of that. Silver, we're good to go. Social credit score is a bad idea. That goes against the whole idea. I don't think so. I don't think you're going to have to work anymore, Nitban, quite frankly. I think the government will say, Nitban, here's how it's going to go. Everybody in the entire world is going to be given an allocation. That allocation is going to come in the form of digital currency every month. And they're going to tell you, we want you to spend more time with your family, which is great. It's a concept in the Philippines that goes over real well. In the United States, we don't understand it so much. In India, they love it. In the Philippines, they love it. Yeah. But in an industrialized country, they don't know what the hell you're talking about. What are you talking about? Well, every month you're gonna get 1,000 digital credits. We want you to enjoy your life. Go out and spend those digital credits. However, if you try and save them, guess what's going to happen? The next month, they're going to reduce your allocation of digital credits, but they're going to give you an incentive. They're going to say, you know what? If you want more credits, you can go to work. So you can go to work and we'll pay you a little bit more. We'll give you a little extra something if you go to work. And that's how the system's going to work. So they're going to give you the choice. If you want to go to work, we're going to let you do that. And we're going to give you bonus digital credits for going to work. Dan, I hope that you're right about letting expats use Medicare. They're going to let. Yes, I think so. I think it's inevitable because they're talking about the system being broke by 2033, something like that. They'll only be paying out something like 70%, or 75% of the money that you're entitled to, because there's not going to be enough money in there. There's the whole thing's a pyramid scheme. But can you imagine, Larry, how all this would be a thing of the past if they just would switch over to digital currency? I mean, so there's good and there's bad. There's good and there's bad. They switched everything over, then essentially healthcare would be free for all. It would become more like a human right, I believe. If I don't need to work, I want you for president. Oh, yeah, you have to be born in the U.S. Yeah, you're not referring to that book that's coming out that said we've had a president or two that weren't born here. How many guesses do you need to figure out who that was? Listen, I don't want to be banned from YouTube. We can't talk about that aspect of the U.S. political history. All right, let me see. I got notes here. So your financial information is going to be shared with others. Here's proof. It's not proof. It's an example of what could happen. Something that's already taken place. In the past, PayPal had announced that they were interested in partnering up with the Southern Poverty Law Center to investigate folks, propagators is the word they use, of anti-government rhetoric. And whatever information that was discovered on social media, TikTok and Facebook and the like, YouTube, it would be shared with other financial firms and governments. Why would they do that? Nitban. Why would they do that? Why would they share? Why would they share that you were an unhappy camper with your current political climate? Why would they share that, your own opinion, with everybody else? Because they're going to force you to change your way of thinking. Because when you go to that conference, when you go buy the airline ticket, let's say you're going from San Francisco to New York City for that conference, and you go to buy your ticket at American Airlines. You're going to American Airlines to buy your ticket. Guess what they tell you? Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Dentban. I'm so sorry, Mr. Dan. We're not allowed to sell you the ticket because you're on the list. You're on the list of propagators. Did I say that right, Gator? Oh, I don't even know that word. Exposing anti-government rhetoric. And we've been told by the government of both the United States and other countries that they don't want you flying. And so your social credit score must be elevated. And one way you could elevate it is, so you know how now you could send away, right? You get a free credit score, and it tells you what your credit score is, and then tells you, gives you suggestions of what you have to do to change it. This will look just like a FICO credit report, and it'll say, in order for you to get in the good graces again, where American Airlines will sell you a ticket, you need to do this. And then they're going to give you perhaps Perhaps you should change your way of thinking. And so Mike is saying already doing that in China. Yes. Yes. Filipina Raquel is in the house. Cheers to you, my lady. Yeah, you're going to give the big fickle finger of fate award to them. So they'll prevent you from buying that ticket. They'll say drive. But unfortunately, that won't work either, because as you're driving across the state of California, once you reach Arizona or Nevada, if you're going through Nevada, guess what happens? The highway patrol stops you. And they say, Dan, you're needed at home, like right now. You understand what I'm telling you, son? You're needed at home. Turn around and drive that away. And by the way, there'll be a checkpoint. And so it takes an hour and a half for you to get to that checkpoint. We better see your license plate flash up on my screen, or I'm going to come looking for you. Or if it's not me, it will be somebody else. Let's see. Filipino Raquel says, I cannot have anyone in my pocket, sir. I got a hole always in my pocket due to giving away every month. But they love you, Filipino Raquel. They love you for giving away every month, and they're going to give you more. They're going to give you more to give away every month. See, this is one of the benefits of the new system. They're going to say, Filipino Raquel is doing the good works of humankind, and we need to give her more so that she can continue on fulfilling that dream and helping people out. So that's the other side of it. Thank you for the Mega Love shout out, Filipina Raquel. Again, the finger, I have a license. The license is a privilege, my friend. They can take it away. They can take that driving privilege away anytime they decide to. They can do it now. You don't have to wait for digital currency or social credit score, any of that stuff. All right, so we know that PayPal is already partnering up with people. And I want to tell you a story, right? This is a true story. The reason why I don't talk so much about some of these other financial transfer companies is because 3 shut down my account. And they sent me and each one of them sent me a message saying, Dan, we no longer want to do business with you because you recently sent a transfer to somebody that we don't like. You sent money to somebody we don't like. They're doing nefarious things. I don't know what those things are. We're not going to tell you what they're doing, but we don't want to do business with you either. And they closed my accounts. Now, if you have been watching, if you're a subscriber to Geo in the Philippines, Geo doesn't talk so much about these sponsors of some of these financial places, and I'll tell you why. I got these names of who to do business with and who to use to transfer money from Geo's YouTube channel. But he doesn't talk about them anymore. But he let slip out one day that he no longer uses some of these companies because they unexpectedly shut down his account. You're way ahead of me, Mike. All right. So now what? You can't do business with them. They get the fickle finger of fate award, Nitban. So now what do I do, right? You have to be careful. You have to be careful that you're not conspiring to commit a crime. You can do so even in your verbiage on YouTube when you're telling somebody what you think they should be doing in order to transfer money from point A to point B. Filipino Regal says yes. When some people using the account for scamming, Sir Dan, and you're supported the wrong account, they're gonna shut you down. So it could be that I was being scammed, and so I mean, I have thought about this. I wouldn't know. How would I know? But all I was doing what I always do, you know. I was sharing some of my blessings with other people that I met on YouTube. Why would they come and shut my account down? However, PayPal is not, as some of you know. That's why you need to know the person first, maybe 6 months before you transfer any money to anyone that you don't know. Okay, great. I don't know how you get to know a person for 6 months and then let them know you know the person for 6 months before you send them the money. By the way, so the United States is already testing digital currency. Several financial institutions, including Citibank, that's the bank that I bank with, have a pilot program with the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. How convenient. How convenient. They're doing it now. They're testing how this thing is going to work now. Not tomorrow, not 10 years in the future, now. I'm sure that's why they shut down my account. And when I made inquiries, they said, "We're never opening an account for you ever again. Don't bother sending us a message. You're dead to us. You are dead to us." Gee, thanks. I was just sitting there telling Ma'am Minnie, I'm such a nice guy. Don't they know this? Well, they would know it if they had my social credit score. I'm having way too much fun with this subject, aren't I? All right, so now you'll know in your heart if a person is good, not instinct. Don't lie, Sir Dan. I thought they were good people. I thought they were good people. I don't ask for something. Folks, have I asked you for something in return? Who in here can get up and testify before God and everybody in this chat? Have I ever sent you money and then asked for something in return? Because it's not part of who I am. So, what have I asked you to do for me in return? To spread my name all over the internet, to spread my name all over YouTube. I've never said anything to you. I don't recall saying that to anybody before. You know, I just don't. So I don't believe I've done it. Filipina Raquel says, never, sir, never at all. See? Yeah, see? I'm not lying to you. Oh my gosh, Michelle is here. Hi, Michelle. God, I like Michelle so much. All right, so you're always sharing. You never ask anything. I wouldn't. That's just bad. That's a bad thing. I would never ask you to do something for me because that would go against anything that, you know, that's what I'm all about. That would go against my belief system, you know, the whole karmic thing, you know, the whole karmic domino theory that I have. All right, so what am I doing then? You know, what am I doing to protect myself? There's nothing really that you can do. You know, you can try. Well, I take it back. I've told you, I guess, already what you can do. You can grow your own food. You could start farming. You could have chickens, egg-laying hens. You know, that's what you do in order to mitigate it. To make sure that your family is taken care of. You know, human beings, we're very simple. We grow food. We eat what we grow. If we want something, we trade with our neighbors who are growing it, and all is good in the world. But unfortunately, crystals, they are going to force you to take the cash. They're not going to force you to take it. They're going to give it to you. It's going to show up on your cell phone, in your digital wallet. It's going to show up one day in your Gcash. And then you're going to go, oh, is that nice? Somebody sent me 1,000 pesos in Gcash. I think I'm going to go spend it. And then you're going to go and spend it. Because you're going to go, oh, this can't be a bad thing. And the person that you're you know, where you're spending it in the market, they're going to appreciate you for it. Oh, here comes Crystals. She's such a nice person. She bought 500 pesos worth of fruits from me the other day. But if you don't want to be a participant or don't want to rely 100% solely on your allocation, then you're going to be growing your own food. I would imagine that's what you're going to be doing, Crystals. I would imagine that's what you're already doing. Yes, a boomerang. That's right. Boom. Except I got hit in the head with the boomerang the other day. Let's see. Filipino Raquel says, I'm very thankful to let all of you know your giving heart, and I think you're an easy target. Once everybody knows. Yeah, perhaps. But even then, I don't think about it too much. Filipino Raquel, you know this about me. I don't spend too much time thinking about stuff like that. Once ducats, once money and goodwill leaves my hand, I never think about it again. It's gone forever. Gone from my hand, gone from my mind, gone from my digital wallet. I never think about it again. That is the God's honest truth. Farming at my age is perfect. Well, anyway, I don't farm myself. I mean, I have a farm. I have food growing. I don't grow it myself. Other people. I come up with the ideas. I'm the idea man. You guys know that. I come up with ideas. I share them with you. So I have the ideas. Hey, I haven't seen anybody over there on their property in a long time. Let's go set up the food growing farm over there. Let's set it up in the backyard. I haven't seen anybody there in a while either. And then if somebody comes by saying, hey, you're growing vegetables on my property, then I say, yes, I'm going to share with you. I'm sharing with you. Okay, then, Dan, I'll wait for that, sir. I'll watch my Gcash 24/7. Well, you don't need to be watching it, Crystals. You'll hear the little ding. It'll give you your little notification bell will come up, right? Yeah, we all need capital, but again, the way you start off is by planting the chili pepper tree, the one that's easiest to grow. And you just plant one, and then everything else will fall into place. You don't really need capital. You just need somebody to give you a gift of a chili pepper tree or something. Let's see. I have Gcash received some from yesterday. Oh yeah. I think that I sent out some Gcash randomly as sort of an acknowledgement of the giving of your time. I realize how valuable time is. I can't give you millions of dollars in Gcash like I want, but I give you a little bit, and a little bit to share to go over the Dunkin' or the Krispy Kreme if you're Larice, who goes over to Krispy Kreme. And have a little something on me. Compliments of Dan. I do that. I'll do that once in a while. Like Gal Mertz is in the house. Mertz is here. Let's see. You got Gcash. He sent it right away. Yes, I try to. If I promise something, I try not to fudge. Filipino Raquel says, and removing your account on PayPal may be the best thing happen to protect your financial status until you find out that Gcash is the only game in town or PayPal is the only game in town. And they say, Dan, if you want to transfer money, we only use Gcash. Dan, if you want to transfer money, you only use PayPal. Anna May says, Crystal Adventure, you don't need to depend on someone else. You had a business. Family had a big farm with lots of crops. Anytime you can harvest there. Yeah, you can harvest it and then share it with your family. Dan, can you show us about your farming? Yeah, I've taken video of the guy setting everything up, and my main problem is I'm lazy. My name should be Lazy Dan. Lazy Dan's channel. Living large with Lazy Dan. Something like that. In Leyte. That should be my channel name. Yeah. Oh, someone uses PayPal account. Johnny R. Oh, and God bless you, Michelle, and everyone here in the chat. So, anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And so now I'm going to keep my mouth shut. No, I'm not doing that. It's impossible. I'm not built that way. Let me see if I can get my invite thing to work. Just give me a second while I copy and paste. Okay, I got the copied. Let me go down here and paste. And let's see if any one of you, let's see, want to come in and share your thoughts about what I've said. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. I do apologize. Let me hit that enter button. There it is. There is the StreamYard link. I got to go and pin it. So we have a few moments left, don't we? Don't we? You can talk to me about what you think the future looks like if you choose. I see Larry coming in. Larry, let me pin this first. Larry, pin, message pin. Okay. By the way, I haven't been paying any attention to anything. I've been just sitting here listening to myself talk. Oh, there you are. Are you muted? Hello. I can't read lips. I'm no good at reading lips, Larry. Oh, your brother's painting. Good for you. You're doing that remodel job. That's great. You'll be in the background. Okay, thanks for stopping by. Filipina Raquel, I will private message you soon. Larry, where are you? Larry, where are you, brother Larry? Sir Larry. Mega love and shout out from Filipina Raquel. We can't hear a thing you're saying, though. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, read his lips. His lips aren't moving right now, though, Crystals. Oh, thank you, Filipina Raquel. Larry, you there? Speak. I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you. Okay, so we're gonna just watch Larry. I have you muted, I think. Hang on. It might be me that's the problem. This is so weird. Yeah, it just shows your mic being muted. Okay, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna remove you from the stream. I want you to come back in. All right, we'll wait. Let's see. Kick from studio. All right, come back in, Larry, if you can. If you can hear me, come back in. I don't know how to do this, you guys. Low Tech Dan talking about digital currency. That's why you folks should not be listening to anything that I have to say. Central bank controlled digital currency. That is a wild idea. That's a very, very wild idea. Matt Monroe songs. Okay, I'll see what that is. Larry, you coming back? PM me. Let me know what you're going to do. Let me know what you're going to do. So anyway, I like Gcash, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. You should be good.
I'm hoping. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
Somehow my settings got reset. Earlier, my earbuds wasn't working. Then my mic quit working just as I came up. So my mic got disconnected. Uh, One of those days, bro. Just one of those days. And I happen to agree with who was it that said that? Was that Crystal? Was saying I was the only lazy.
uh,
Remember, I'm the only one that's lazy, buddy. Can I have that name? That's me.
we'll we'll keep that in mind. Filipino Raquel says, especially many retired nowadays on YouTube and your government protected retired American people. But you know what? There was a video. There was a YouTube video, Filipino Raquel, that somebody did where they were kind of like putting down Americans and American retirees, saying that you guys have it all, blah 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 blah. You know, they don't treat us like that in Australia. They don't treat us like that in England. Blah 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 blah. We have a state pension, and I was like, you know what? I don't get where this dude is coming from. Listen, we haven't seen. It's not. You say, here's the whole thing. It is protected. The pensions and Social Security are protected as long as there's money there. But once the money runs out, they don't care who you are. You ain't getting it. And so when they talk about Social Security going under, they're not talking about no money being available. They're saying they could only give out as a percentage the percentage of money that they have in the fund. So if let's say you're entitled to $1,800 per month, and they only have enough in there to give you $1,600 per month, they will lower your payment to $1,600 per month. It's by law they can do that.
They were talking 25%.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest entitlement programs in the entire world.
I don't.
It's one of the biggest welfare programs in the entire world, and I'll tell you how. I will tell you how. You will never. You will listen. You're going to take out of there way more money than you put in. That is a mathematical fact.
Well, that might be.
A lot of people say it the opposite. A lot of people say no. I pay in way more than I'm going to be taken out of the system. Really, have you ever sat down and done the math? Sit down and do the math. And
it depends on how long you live. Remember, how many people
and how many years you work. This is true.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you, Larry. This is true.
How many people die before they even get a cent?
It sucks to be them.
Oh, yeah, but I'm just saying it happens. And I don't consider it an entitlement if you paid into it. Now, it may be more than what you're entitled to. I'm not saying that.
Crystals, I do want to say this. Because I've seen you say this before. Crystals, your future is going to change. This is all I could say. Your future is about to change. It's about to get 10 times better.
I think it will get better in the Philippines, yes.
Yes, it's about ready to get 10 times better. Crystals, you have the right name for this. Grab your crystal ball. Look in it. What do you see? A very bright future for you. And I'm serious about that. I'm not playing around. I'm serious. All right, Nitban, you did the math. What did you come up with?
Let's see. Like I said, it all depends on how long you live, whether you get more out than what you paid in.
Yeah.
And remember, I'm still, even though I'm taking, I'm still paying.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
I know how it works. Well, you're this. None of what I say here applies to you, Larry.
Hey,
nothing that I say here applies to you.
I'm too lazy to work forever, buddy.
All right, so so mitigating this, what's about to happen by buying precious metals, that's all just it doesn't mean anything. The reason why even though I'm doing it, right, I'm buying precious metals, but it doesn't mean anything. And one of the reasons why it doesn't mean anything is because they could nationalize everything. They could just come in and say, uh, they'll say this. They'll come to you one day and they'll say this, Dan, we understand you own this house in Sacramento. Just so happens that we want to nationalize your property so that we can house 18 homeless people in your house. And in exchange for that,
domain.
yeah, in exchange for that, we're going to give you an apartment in a high rise in San Francisco, rent free for the next until you pass away.
Yeah.
And then I say, yeah, I'm going for that. But check this out. I don't own the apartment in San Francisco, and and the government does own my house in Sacramento. Are you getting where I'm going with this?
Oh yeah, like I said, they went in it. It's like eminent domain. They come
Right.
in and say, we're going to take your property, and we're giving you X number of dollars for that property.
Right.
And it's usually not worth what you paid for it or what you could get on the open market.
Right.
And so if they came in and offered you to take your property, but hey, we're going to give you free rent for life, that might be worth it. That's better than eminent domain.
Especially if it's in a high-rise building in San Francisco overlooking the bay.
No. You keep San Francisco. Now you put me down in San Diego, I'll go with you.
Oh, San Diego's even better. I'll negotiate that if it happens. I'll negotiate San Diego. Yeah. So now Crystals is saying for free. That is awesome, Dan. Yes. On the face, it seems like an awesome deal. Except for this. If you're planning on transferring your wealth down to your children, guess what? Yeah, it's not going to happen. Your children are out of luck. Because once you pass away, it's gone. Your house is gone. It belongs now to the federal government. Your kids cannot go claim that house. You've already signed off on the deal. So think about this. I think about stuff like this all the time. And the reason why is because for some of you, it's going to become your reality. Now, what happens in the Philippines? The Philippines is perfect for accepting this model. It is in a perfect position because right now for example, Larry, can I ask a question?
Go ahead. I may lie to you, but go ahead.
All right. Philippine Information Channel.
Okay, Stephen.
Have you watched the last 2 or 3 of his videos?
I did not. The videos, yes. I was going to say I missed the live stream this week. I did not see it.
And what has caught your attention about his videos?
Well, the last one he's talking about is the modernization of Manila, how they're improving the infrastructure and stuff like that. But he hasn't talked much about what he's talking more like BGC and Makati, not so much Quezon, although he did say a little bit about that, but most of it's the main part of Manila.
Hey, have you noticed something about it, about his views? Have you noticed something about his views, how many views he's getting?
No, I didn't check out his views.
They're declining, my friend. Because every time you talk about that the dream is disappearing in the Philippines, people stop watching your channel.
Yeah. Well,
they don't want to hear about this. They don't want to hear about this. They don't want to hear about how things are changing. They're changing rapidly. Who do you know was one of the first people to talk about that?
Well, you were talking about that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, long time ago.
The thing is, I don't think it depends on where you want to live in the Philippines. Whether it's
you could live in the back country. You could live in the province.
Hold it. You just rented a place for $250 furnished in Cebu.
Right.
That's doable for most of us.
That's a place that was $75 a month a year ago.
Yeah, but still, the 200.
That's the point that I'm trying to make. Will it be $250 per month next year? See, that's
You
the
don't
whole
know.
point that I'm trying to make. Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of do know. I kind of do
Well,
know.
it
It
depends.
won't be.
Are they
It
building
won't
more
be.
places? Are they building more places? The more
Yeah, but it's
places.
static. It's not dynamic. It's static. The
Hey,
stuff
Leonard,
that
how
they're
you
built,
doing?
especially because the military is coming in there. Because the
Well,
military is coming in there, they're going to suck up some of those 5,000 or 6,000 available units in the
not
city
in.
of Cebu.
I don't think they're going to get them in Cebu. I don't think the military is going to be in Cebu.
They are. They
That's not
are.
what I've been hearing. I've not heard that they're
Oh
going to
yeah, they
Cebu.
are. They are. They're going to be in Mactan. That's where one of the bases are.
Yeah, but that's going to take. That's not going to take Cebu. That's going to take back time. They're going to. Those people are going to live close to where they work, because with
We're
that
not
kind
that.
of traffic, with that
Cebu's
kind of
only over the
traffic,
bridge. Cebu City
yeah,
is only over the bridge.
take the bridge and see how long it takes you.
Well, I think there's 2 of them completed, 1 under construction.
You got
I'm
three
not
bridges
mistaken.
in. There's
I
3
think they're
bridges in
planning
between
4
McCann.
bridges.
Well, they may be planning the 4th one. It's not been built yet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, though, you take those bridges and see, and the one that's completed is a paid bridge. All right. Now you got the other 2, which, like I said, take them. See how long it takes you during rush hour, which would be the time they'd be going to work.
Larry, you're missing something. You're missing something. You're missing the
Oh,
displacement that's going to occur.
yeah, but it's going
You're
to be, like I said, it's going to occur on that can. It's not going to occur in Cebu.
no, they have to live someplace. The displacement is going to occur because the military is going to pay more for those apartments, is going to displace those people that are looking
In Mactan. In Mactan, I agree with you.
No,
Yes.
no.
I don't believe they're going to
Mactan.
Cebu.
No.
You got
There,
Dan,
Larry,
did you serve the service?
Larry.
Did you serve the service? Did you serve in the service? You
There's
don't
going to
wanna
be displacement that occurs. They
I'm
have to.
I'm going to tell you
The
way
Filipinos have to live somewhere, my friend. They don't.
Yeah.
Houses just don't magically appear. They
I'm
just
not
don't
saying
magically appear out of thin
I'm not
air.
saying that. I'm saying
They
they're
have to
not gonna live in
move. They have to
Cebu. They're not-
move.
The,
And so
the
since-
serviceman is not going to live in Cebu City. Most of
Listen.
them will not live there. They will not live there.
Larry, you're one of the biggest dreamers that I know.
No, I was in the service. I know how the serviceman thinks. He's going to want to be close to where he can get to base as easy as possible.
Yes.
All right. Now,
The problem is not going to be with the service. The problem is going to be with the servicemen displacing the Filipinos, my friend.
But like I said, it's not going to be in the city of Cebu. They're not.
Yes,
they're
it
not gonna live
will, because they won't be able to afford to live in Mactan. You're missing this point. The point is they can't afford to live there. They'll move over the bridge, which will cause
You know,
prices
wait.
in Cebu City
Hold
to
on.
rise. That's my
Hold
point that I'm
on.
making.
Let me tell you something about the military. If they have a base there, they're going to have on-base housing.
I hope they do.
They do. They will.
But then
the military,
they're going to bring in supportive personnel, and they have to live someplace.
now those people may live in Cebu, but the military, like I said, the military is going to have. They're going to give, because if they have to live off base, the military's got to pay them more money.
Dude, if this happens the way I think it's going to happen, you're going to owe me a large lunch through a drive-through fast food window.
I'm going to owe
Jollibee. Jollibee.
No Jollibee. You go to Denny's or something. No Jollibee.
Because, and listen, I'm the perfect guy.
Hold on. I served in the military. If you have to live off base, they got to pay you to live off base.
Yes, I understand that.
All right,
which means you have more money to spend. Which means you have more money to spend.
It's cheaper to build on base housing. It's cheaper.
But you need support personnel for the base. The people living on the base.
You want to know who the
You have doctors, nurses moving in. You have janitors. You have trash collectors. You have the person working in the water treatment facility. All those positions don't exist right now.
Most of those positions are going to be Filipino.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. They'll live off base.
They're going to live off base,
but
in houses that don't exist, my friend. The houses don't exist.
But not the military is what I'm saying.
And then the demand for housing is going to increase.
Yeah, but the military will not the military will cause it, but they will not be the ones doing it. No,
The
they
latest
won't.
numbers of troops. Tim says the latest number of U.S. troops coming to the Philippines is 12,000 on the way. Yeah. We only need 12,000 new homes. That's all.
5,000 is going to be on Palawan. They've already said that 5,000 is going to be on Palawan.
Right.
And you got 9. Wait. You got 9 bases.
Yeah, you have 9 bases.
You got Subic, Clark, Palawan, and there were 5 bases originally. Then they added 4 more. I was just reading the article on it. One's up in Manila area. They got one that's going to be facing Taiwan.
Thank you, Crystals. Thank you. Modernization impact to the poor is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but
it's impossible. It's unavoidable.
Well, you're
my
right,
friend.
It is. But
it's unavoidable.
But I'm saying it's not going to be the military man himself living in Cebu.
Listen, nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying that.
That's what I was saying.
The military is going to cause. Listen, I'm just talking in general about the housing shortage causing the rent of houses to go north. That's all I'm talking about here.
What I'm saying is, though, you avoid the areas where the military bases are going to be.
You're pushing them out of the place that they call home.
No, I'm talking about
my friend. Are you not getting this? That you're disrupting the lives of local Filipinos by displacing them?
Yeah, but the Filipino government asked for it
because they cannot afford to pay the rents that are going to be out of their range to pay for.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you're saying it's
that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is things are changing so quickly.
But that's in the
rents are going up, and so that means to me that rents are not going to be going the opposite direction. That was the only point I was trying to make here.
Not in Cebu. You're right. Not in those 9 areas.
Yes, not in Subic, not in Clark, not where the good medical care is, not where the good medical care is.
But you can still go to Dumaguete right now.
Yes, you could go to Dumaguete. The prices are higher than ever in Dumaguete.
But it's still cheaper than a lot of other places. You can go to
it's cheaper than the United States, my friend. That's why you move there.
Yeah, but I'm saying you can go to Iloilo, no military. You have, if you're going to retire and go over there, unless you're on a large budget, which compared to me, you're a large budget. You go somewhere where there's not the military. You don't want to be anywhere near the military because even the bases that have the military rotating in and out, like on ships, Subic, most of those are going to be sailors and they're going to be on their ship. They're not going to go out and get in town. The support staff will. That's what, like I said, the support staff will go out in town and cause the prices to go. So it depends on how large the support staff is. But the average sailor or Marine, unless he's shore duty, which is different, but most of them are going to be on ship coming in. They're going to stay on ship. They're not going to have the money to go out in town and rent an apartment. I know
Filipina, Raquel, and Leonard made good points here, so you should take a look at those. But Leonard is right. I do believe it. He's right. It's cheaper to live in Cebu than Dumaguete. And Filipina Raquel saying it is sad, but poor people force themselves to sell their property as this is fact of modernization system. Okay, so she's saying that it would happen. I think she's saying it would happen whether the military was there or not. And I believe she's probably right.
Well, I will agree with Leonard right now, and it probably is cheaper in Cebu. But we're talking about after the military comes in. We're talking 2 or 3 years down the road. Because the military, not the military man, but the military being there, their infrastructure, their support staff will drive the cost up in Cebu quite a bit. It will not do that in Dumaguete because the military won't be there. That's what I'm saying. So when you go to retire, that may be the place to go.
So what I'm saying is displacement is going to have an impact all across the Philippines. It's going to drive prices up. But I'll tell you something, and it will happen within the next year. I'll give you a couple of predictions. It will happen in the next year. And so that's why I'm changing course. I'm putting my money where
Hey
my
Ed, how
mouth
you doing?
is. I'm
Ed,
putting
Ed
my money
Williams
where
here.
my mouth is. And so what I'll be doing is I'll be buying another piece of real estate in the Philippines. Let's see. Tim says, I know a man that owns the property that Randolph Air Force Base is on. He gets $1 per acre tax-free for 10 years more. That's pretty cool. Ed says, just finished 2 Del Taco burritos for $160. Who says there is inflation in the U.S.? There's deflation. There's deflation on burritos. And Tim says, with the option to renew the lease for 99 years. That's pretty good.
Philippine
So,
Hotels is the best business is to buy and
yes,
sell
yes.
property.
Nobody knows for sure exactly what's going to happen. You're right. So that point is well made. That point is well made, Larry. So, $250 is cheap. Yes, it seems like it's affordable now. And I made the point on one of my previous streams. I said, yeah, but where is the $150 rents that everybody is talking about? Because I was unable to find them. And so that means that it indicates to me, it doesn't mean anything, but it indicates to me the landlords are already gearing up. No, they know that they have a tasty event that's going to happen here pretty soon. Crystal says, government knows how to gamble. If they saw something that benefits them, they'll grab that opportunity. Come hell or high water, sad reality. And so you have 2 classes of people here. It's the rich and the poor. And you have an emerging middle class. Yeah. But it's not emerging very, very quickly. And of course, Crystal, whether you know it or not, in the United States, that middle class is shrinking. And so you have the middle class in the Philippines growing. Well, the middle class in the Philippines middle class in the Philippines is growing a little bit. Well, you have the middle class in the United States disappearing. And so sooner or later, we'll have rich in the United States and poor. That's where I'm coming from.
Right now, I am middle class. Hey, Leonard, but I would be considered lower middle class. I'm above working poor, but not by a lot.
Hey, everybody.
It depends on what they keep doing with the minimum wages. They keep raising the minimum wages, and I don't get raises. I'll soon be working poor. I'm above minimum wage is what I'm saying. But like I said, I'm lower middle class. If I was married and my income was the only income, I would be working poor. But being it's just me, I'm lower middle class because that's the way it goes.
Oh, but, Tim, there you go, Tim, bragging again about your $160 per month rent.
Now, Nick, man, from what I gather from you, you're upper middle class. There's an upper middle class, lower middle class, and working poor. I'm above the working poor, but not by a lot. I am lower middle class. Like I said, but if I had a partner and they weren't working, that would put me probably in the working poor.
Working poor. Leonard, do you have a Michael Jackson glove?
No, I wear this glove because my hand gets cold.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't really help all that much.
But hey, do you have to take the glove off when you take a pee?
I usually take it off when I go to the restroom. Yeah.
I don't know why I found that to be funny.
Well, this is my left hand. I'm right-handed.
Oh,
my right hand is, and right leg are what was affected by the stroke. So I don't have the fine muscle control of my right hand. So I have to use my left hand for a lot of stuff.
I got
now you know way more than I ever wanted to tell you.
Yeah, I apologize about that.
It's okay. It's getting to be that most of the people I know very well on YouTube know pretty much the situation I'm in. So
I'm going to tell you the truth. when I'm
No,
inside, I keep my.
don't start now, Larry.
I told you whenever I tell you I'm going to tell you the truth, I'm going to lie to you. So just
Well,
settle down.
we all know that, Larry.
When I'm in the apartment, I keep the heat up enough that I'm going to be warm.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets so hot I have an air condition on, or not a fan. Right now I got a fan blowing on me. But I'm with you. I don't like my hands being. If my hands are cold, I'm cold. If my feet are
Yeah.
cold, I'm cold.
Yep.
Now
I've been
I
that
can
way
walk
most of
out.
my life.
I can walk outside, and I've been able to do it for years. I can still do it. Put a pair of gloves on, a pair of boots on, with just no shirt on, and I can go out there in 20-degree weather and stay out there for a
Yeah.
while.
That's
Because
the
my
way I
hands and
used
feet
to
aren't
be too.
cold. Well, I can't stay out there as long as I used to. I'll be
Well,
honest with you. But I can still go out there for a good 10 minutes or more before I have to go inside because I'm cold.
yeah.
I just,
Yeah,
but
I'm
like I
that
said,
way too.
my hands and feet, if they get cold, I'm cold. And I've been that
Yep.
way for many, many years. So, like
I've
I
been
said,
that
when
way
I
pretty
finally
much my
do,
whole life.
like I said, well, most of my life, I can't remember a time, I won't say all my life, but I can't remember a time that I didn't want to wear gloves when I was wearing gloves long before other people were in my area. Because my hands
Tim,
also will
Tim
crack
is
open and bleed.
asking the question: what is money needed for the middle class? I don't really know, honestly. I would imagine here in the Philippines, I couldn't even guess. If I were to guess, I would say it's probably
Food, rent.
it's probably something like 50,000 pesos a month or something like
Now,
that.
Crystal, you be careful where you're working now. I know you're going to put the gloves on, which will help your hands,
Don't
but
hurt
make sure
yourself.
you got to watch that axe and go make that money. I understand. Hey, we all got to do what we got to do to make money, except for Dan.
Well, I full well expect that I'm going to be getting the letter. Once they put the new Social Security measure in place, the so-called fix, and they say that they're going to start means testing Social Security. That'll pretty much be the end of my pension, or my Social Security check.
It might even if they mean test, I might get a pay increase.
Yeah, well, I definitely would get a pay decrease if they means test.
But I'm just saying,
Yeah,
I might
me
get a
too.
pay increase.
Yeah.
Because, but like I said, I got 2 more payments on that one bill. Thank God that's all that's left on that one.
Yeah.
And then probably about 5 or 6 months after that, I'll have another bill paid off. And then if everything goes right, about a year later, I'll have that one paid off. And all I'll have is my car payment I'm talking about outside my living expenses.
Right.
Because you never get rid of those. I mean,
No, that's just a fact of life. You're gonna have to pay
I'm going
them.
to be honest with you. If I stayed in New York State, they would pay my rent if I quit working. They would pay my rent.
Yeah, they won't do that here in Texas.
They will here. But I don't want
to
see
wait. You have to wait in line in California.
That's because New York's got a Democratic
well, in California,
legislature.
You'd be dead by the time your number came up.
Well, yeah.
That's how many people we have waiting in line for subsidized housing. You'd be dead by the time your number came up.
No. I wouldn't have to move into subsidized housing. I can live right here and they'd pay my rent.
Yeah. Well, what I mean is the voucher, the Section 8 voucher.
Yeah, that's something like
you can't get it in California. Too many people want it.
I didn't even know that they would do that. And I was down at the manager's office, and it's been a while back, and some guy was just signing up to get an apartment. He hadn't even moved in yet, but it's all been approved, and so he turned in all the paperwork to them, and they already talked to the housing authority, and it all been subbed, so he was able to move in on the normal move-in date. He just had to sign the paperwork.
Yep.
And He says, "Oh, if you're on Social Security," he says, you can qualify for it." And I said, probably, like I said, I'm sure there's a upper limit,
Of course.
but
Of course,
I'm,
that's probably a Democratic program.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen of what it would take, I would, if I wasn't working, I would qualify. They would also give me a couple hundred a month for groceries, and they would pay my utilities.
Shoot,
So
that's not bad. You can
no, so
afford
like
to
I said,
stay there.
I could afford to stay here, but I don't want to.
No, of course not. But I'm just saying.
I told, I told you, no, I don't like the cold. I
Yeah.
want, I'm not saying I'm going to Philippines. I'd like to go to the Philippines, but I don't know if I'll be able to afford it when it happens. I can afford it right now if I didn't have any bills and I had the money saved up to go over and pay the first month, the deposit, and basically 3 months rent, and then have a little extra money in case it didn't work out, so you can move back.
Hey, so Larry, getting back, I do want to needle you some more about this. So about Steve in particular. So now, when you go back, you know that Steve is doing a series. When you go back and you get a chance to catch up and watch all the videos. So
I've seen all the videos. It's the live stream.
Part 1 and part 2, which means there's going to be a part 3. I watch all of them. I agree 100% with what he's saying. But it's not going to get him any views because people aren't going to like it. They're going to call him a liar. They're going to be pushed back. They're going to call me. They call me a liar already, saying, "Dan, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what's going on." I know I'm only living here, and so what?
Right.
In other words, what could I possibly offer anybody? I'm only living here. In other words,
Right.
But they don't like hearing it. They don't like hearing that you need 10 grand in order to transition from California to the Philippines. They're not believing that you should have $15,000 for medical. They're not believing that.
I believe all that. I believe all that.
Yeah.
I really do. That's why
I've heard that.
I don't have the money to go, even if I had all my
many people. I've heard that same thing from too many people. I've heard the same thing from too many people.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rude awakening. I mean, I wasn't expecting it at all. I was not expecting it at all.
That's why I said I need 5 years because I want to save that much money and more once I get my pay. And like I said, I should be out of debt in a year and a half if everything goes right. But I'm giving myself 2 years because you know how things are. My mother may pass away. I may have to go back to Terre Haute and hotel room because I'm not the only one lives out of state. My oldest sister, her husband, my nephews, and they all live out of state. We'd all be going back for my mom.
Right.
And then you got the gas, the food while you're there. I'm going back in June, but it won't cost me that much because I got a place to stay, and the gas will be the biggest cost I'm going to have going back and coming back. Plus, I'll probably have 2 hotel rooms, and that's it. But now, Ed, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to have to try to get a hold of the Social Security office tomorrow. If I can't get them by phone, I'll have to drive over. I told you guys about the scam, and I've got pretty much everything done, but I want to talk to the Social Security office, make sure nobody can get a Social Security card sent somewhere else. Let them know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so that's about the last thing I got to do with this.
You got to do that.
I've gone to the bank. I've got hold of this, and I was at the bank today, and I changed my account name, the name so if you try to look me up with the old name, you're not getting this account. I changed the password, so if you do find me, it's a whole different password.
Yeah.
They never did have my checking account number, and I got a new debit card number, so it's going to be a lot harder for them to find that.
Right.
And matter of fact, I shut down and deactivated the old mobile app because, well, when I reported that the scam, they made it where I couldn't get in. So I went to the bank and reset it up with new name, new password, the whole bit. I did that today.
Hey, Ed, bad things happen down there. Try and do your business online.
That's true.
Well, I will try to do.
Yeah, bad things happen.
I'm going to try to do it over the phone if I can.
Yeah, try and do your business over the phone or online.
Well, over the phone, you usually have
to.
Over the phone, you usually have a 3 or 4 hour wait on hold.
Well, yeah, but if you, well, it depends on the. I'm going to go to a smaller. They got these smaller sites that are in their smaller towns. So instead of going to, I'll tell you in a minute, Albany, I'll go to Troy. Albany would.
That might work for you.
Would be a pain trying to get into. And,
so, Ed, let me ask you a question. Is that banking internationally? Is that what that's about? Or having it deposited into a bank overseas? Just curious about that. Because I was watching a video called oh man, what's the name of that guy's channel? The Nomadic. Man, I can't think of it. I just ran into that guy's channel where he talks about how to get your money moved over to a foreign bank and how you should be handling it.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the Nomadic. Once in a while. That young kid.
Yeah,
he's a young-looking guy with the glasses. Looks like a genius.
Yeah. Or
can't be related. Can't be related to me if he looks like a genius.
Yeah, he's the nomadic. The nomadic capitalist.
Yeah, that's it.
Nomadic capitalist. Yeah. So he's got some good information that he shares.
Yeah, he's got some that sounds kind of flaky because I've heard information along the same lines from other people that are contrary to what he says. So.
Well, Ed said it's combining Japan and USA pensions, not banking.
You know what, Ed? I have a friend from Malaysia who, even after leaving Malaysia, continued to pay into the Social Security system in Malaysia. And so my friend has 2 pensions, one from Malaysia and one from the USA. Actually 3. All of them are government pensions. And so I was like, wow, that's pretty fun to think about.
Really, because those are normally safe, you know.
Yeah, but I wonder how
I should say safer.
Yeah.
I think the government pension that I get, not Social Security, I think it works the same way as Social Security. They will only pay out the percentage of money that's in the fund. And so thankfully that fund is running at like 86 or 87%. And so that's considered to be fully funded. So, I mean, that's good for right now, you know, but actually, you know, I was about ready to say that I worry about it, but actually I really don't, because there's nothing really that I could do about it to manage There's nothing I could do about it. If it happens,
there's no sense worrying if you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, there's nothing I could do about it. I mean, the chips are going to fall where they're going to fall, no matter what.
The best thing you can do is set yourself up the best way you can. Yeah. Like you said, convert as much money as you can into pesos. Right. And not spend any more than you have to of the money you're converting for later.
I'm spending it like a drunken sailor right now.
Buy me a beer, big boy.
I'm having such a good time. I'm not spending enough money. I was just talking to Minnie about it today. I was saying, hey, you know what? We really do need to buy another house, because I mean, we're not spending enough money. We're only spending somewhere between 25 and 30% of our monthly income. And so, you know, when you're in that kind of position, you got to do something with it.
That must be a relief.
Well, it is. I mean, the money piles up so fast. Yeah, I don't know what to do with it. I mean, I wish.
Well, I can think of a few places to put it.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I were.
Counts one.
my YouTube channel would be way more successful if I weren't making so much damn money.
Yep.
I'd be working harder at telling people how poor I am, how I grew up a poor child, and the
Yeah.
whole thing.
I actually grew up upper middle class until my dad went on total disability. Then I went poor.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been on both sides of the tracks.
Yeah, I do
we lost
remember.
Leonard.
He went away. I do remember some hard times, where where we were going through some hard times, and
Like I said, when my dad went on total disability, we went from him. He was the only one working. My mom worked, staying home, taking care of the kids and the house. But I mean, she
Right.
didn't have an outside job. So when Dad went on unemployment, it was some rough time because he didn't get his Social Security for a few months. And when my mom did get a job, she didn't make anywhere near what my dad made.
But then the other side of the story is I probably would not have been able to maintain the middle class lifestyle had I remained in the United States. So there's the flip side of the coin. And then by coming over here, I'm able to share, and help people.
Well, what I'm saying is I can stay here and live if I stayed in New York after I quit working. I could live better in the Philippines.
Right.
And that's all I'm saying. I mean, I'm not one. Hey,
There
Larry,
we
welcome
go.
back.
Yeah.
I'm not one of these people that wants to go out drinking all the time or chasing skirt or.
Oh, you're not liking me? Is that what you're saying, Larry? You're not liking me?
I'm not like you.
Or me.
But I mean, there's nothing against having.
I'm only
beer
going
now.
to the Philippines for the women. Remember that interview someone did? I'm only going to the Philippines for the women.
Yeah, that sounds like one of those passport bros.
But I'm not saying I'm against meeting a woman. I'm just saying I'm not going to be out there chasing. I'm not saying I'm not going to have a drink. I'm just not going to the bars very often. I've got all that out of my system years ago. The last time I was in a bar was
Hey, Larry,
4 years.
we grew up
4 or
since
5
then.
years. 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh yeah,
And
but
I was drinking Coke. Not
I actually saved all those vices for when I retired. So it's party on, bro.
I burned through all those. Hey, this cost me thousands and thousands of dollars. Let me tell you, I could have paid for a house more than once with what that cost me.
Oh man, you know what? I really appreciate the spirited conversation we had. It actually is going to, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how things develop into the future. But I'll tell you what, again, backing it up, I'm really, really interested in what Steve has to say because we're almost identical at this point on our thinking. I mean, when he speaks, he's like speaking for me. And so it took a while for us to get that way, He doesn't even know I exist most likely, but now I look forward to seeing what he has to say, to see if our observations, if they're getting closer, because we've come like this over 6 months. So and then all of a sudden, boom, he just goes, wow, something's going on.
Remember now, he always did prefer the big budget. Steve's always preached a big budget.
Still I'm unsure about what that's all about. I really am.
Well, one of the reasons he does is because he adds a lot of stuff to the budget that we might not consider part of the budget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
like he adds so much a month for saving, so much a month for insurance, so much a month for
but see, I think you should include that
money.
I think you should include that.
Oh, guys, we're close to wrapping things up. I just want to say that the winner of today's donut and coffee with Dan, 100 pesos sent to your Gcash, is Mawelma. So Mawelma, do me a favor. If I don't have your Gcash account number, have somebody PM it, or you PM it to me, and I will send out that 100 pesos so you can enjoy whatever you want. A cup of coffee and a pandesal, cup of coffee and a donut, well, whatever you'd like. Fruit, if you're into fruits, whatever you want. I'll send that. If you're into fruits like I am, well then, have an apple on me.
I'd rather have watermelon.
Yeah. Woo! Winner, chicken dinner. All right, you guys. Larry, you drove me crazy again.
That's my job.
Take us out of this. Take us out of this live stream.
All right, everyone. Remember, be kind to each other. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe and healthy. Thus, as always, try to have fun. Bye.
Everybody, thanks for coming. Leonard, appreciate your time. Nit Band, everybody in the chat, thank you so much for visiting and giving us your time. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
I'm out.
I'm out.